Everyone has a theory for why Rome fell. Lead pipes, lazy emperors, barbarians, Christianity. You have heard them all. And almost none of them left a receipt. But some things did, buried where no one thought to look. Buried in the ice of Greenland, hidden inside Roman coins, and written in the DNA of the dead, there is a paper trail. And it tells a colder, stranger story than any lecture you were ever given about the end of Rome. Here is the strangest of them. 2 miles down in a Greenland glacier, scientists drilled out a core of ancient ice. And trapped in its layers was pollution, lead, blown north from Roman smelters 2,800 miles away. That ice is not a perfect chart of Rome's economy, but it preserves a year-by-year record of silver mining and smelting. It rises and falls with Rome, and after the empire's peak, it never fully climbs back. So forget the opinions. This is Rome's story, told only by the evidence that survived, the receipts. And the first receipt is written in money. Rome ran on a silver coin called the denarius. At its peak under Augustus, it was almost pure silver. And the Greenland ice agrees. Lead pollution from silver mining hit its highest point in the 1st century. The height of the empire, money and smoke rose together, higher than ever before. Then something changed. In the year 64, under Nero, the silver in the denarius was quietly cut. And in the very same window, the lead in the ice drops. The coin and the sky confess the same pressure. That was only the first cut. Over the next 2 centuries, the denarius was shaved thinner and thinner. Then it was pushed aside by a new coin, the Antoninianus, and it fared worse. By the 270s, it held under 5% silver, essentially bronze with a thin silver wash. These coins do not show an economy that vanished. They show a state stretching its silver to the breaking point, to pay armies, officials, and endless civil wars. And the ice agrees, the lead never climbs back to its old heights. But strained money alone does not empty a city of people. For that, you need something that kills. Around the year 165, soldiers returning from the east brought something home with them. The Antonine plague swept the empire and may have killed several million people, though the true number is uncertain. In the ice you can watch the aftermath. Trade slows, smelters go quiet, and the lead falls. A disease left its shadow in a glacier 2,800 miles away. But here honesty matters. We still do not know for sure what pathogen caused the Antonine plague. The hard genetic proof comes from a completely different pandemic almost 4 centuries later. In a 6th century cemetery in Bavaria, scientists pulled DNA from ancient skeletons and found the fingerprint of a killer. Yersinia pestis, the bacterium behind bubonic plague that named the cause of the Plague of Justinian. It did not measure how many died, it named the killer. And just before it struck, the sky had gone dark. First, one crucial fact. By this point, the Western Roman Empire was already gone, fallen in 476. What follows struck the half that survived. The Eastern Empire, ruled from Constantinople. In the year 536, writers described a dim blue sun that cast no shadow for months, as if the light itself had thinned. Crops failed. Snow fell in summer. For a long time, it read like myth. Then the ice and the trees backed it up. Glacier layers and tree rings record the same fingerprints. The fingerprints of two massive volcanic eruptions in 536 and 540. Their ash veiled the sun and dragged temperatures into what scientists call the late antique Little Ice Age. And 5 years after that darkness, in 541, the Plague of Justinian erupted across the same empire. The cold did not create the plague, but stressed, hungry communities may have been far less able to absorb the shock. This overlap was not new. In earlier centuries, cold and drought loosely tracked the great plagues too. But the pieces did not always fall in the same order or hit every region alike. Climate, hunger, disease and war kept overlapping. The receipts were describing a system under repeated strain. So put the receipts side by side. The coins confess a state straining its money to the breaking point. The ice charts the smoke of that economy fading and never fully returning. The skeletons carry the plague that ravaged the eastern city. The tree rings time-spark the sky going dark, but the receipts alone do not tell the whole story. No lead pipe brought Rome down, and no single barbarian army did either, though military pressure was real. The full picture is uglier. Political fragmentation, civil war after civil war, a shrinking tax base, peoples on the move, disease and climate shocks, all amplifying one another. Each crisis left the West less able to recover from the next. So when did Rome actually fall? The textbook says 476, when the last Western emperor was quietly removed. But Rome did not simply vanish that day. Local institutions survived. Roman law continued. And the Eastern Empire ruled from Constantinople for centuries more. The fall was never one death on one date. It was a long unravelling, recorded not in a headline but in ice, metal and bone. Why does this matter? The version we were handed, decadent emperors and sudden barbarians, is a story built for blame. The evidence tells something humbler and scarier. Rome was not murdered in an afternoon. It was worn down over centuries by pressures it could barely understand and could not measure. The Romans could not read the silver draining from their coins, or the volcano behind a dim sun. They only felt the results. Prices climbing, cities thinning, one crisis making the next harder to survive. We can read all of it now, frozen in ice and sealed in bone, precisely because they could not. Rome did not fall from one cause. It unravelled, crisis amplifying crisis, until recovery ran out. Are we reading our own receipts?